Okay, we're about to speak to a man who I've wanted to chat to for a long time and have known for a long time, but every time we meet we haven't managed to get the interview sorted because there's so much chaos going on. Juma 4, aka Thomas, from the Netherlands, Holland, Amsterdam, one of the coolest cities in the world. And this is the man responsible for the early birth of African hip hop online. He runs AfricanHipHop.com and AfricanHipHopRadio.com. So thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us.
Thanks, good to be here.
Tell us when it started. How long have you been going now?
About 12 years online. And before that I used to already do some promotions, like in the mid-90s. I used to interview African hip-hop artists and publish them in local mags when I was studying in Holland. And so we spoke to Buzz the Black Soul and Ghanaian crew. And there was also Prophet of the City around at the time. So, you know, like from my angle, which is African studies, I kind of saw that there was something going on. And myself being into hip-hop, I found out it's like a pattern, you know, evolving, where people are starting to rap in their local languages and everything. And I used to read a Senegalese newspaper at the library in French, which is full of like little reviews and interviews and everything with local artists. Like, hey, this is interesting. Why don't I just try to publish something? But you know, like to publish a magazine would be too expensive and not enough people wanting to buy. But then I found the internet around '95 and I'm like, hey, this could work.
Yeah.
And then there was this Hasta La Vista, you know, now it's called Alta Vista search engine. I actually found out there's a website in South Africa, which is run the Shamble X at the time.
So you get connected up, and I mean, African hip hop is very much alive online. You know, that we're doing what you're doing, and I think that in terms of, you know, when you're in Europe, media crosses over, but in Africa, media tends to stay very fragmented within its country. So do you feel that the internet's definitely the way to go in terms of growing it on a global level?
I think so, yeah, because the development has started, you know, like in the late 90s, of people moving online has only just begun in Africa, most countries, like places like Burkina or even Somalia. You know, there's enough places where people haven't quite discovered the internet yet, like Rwanda as well. Whereas in others, places like Tanzania, Senegal, like a lot of youth already have a website, and or at least they have an email address and they've got MSN. So it's sort of moving towards a global community, and despite, you know, the language barriers and everything, I think it's a great place to hook up and network and make something big.
Yeah, now you're very involved with the Tanzanian group X-Blasters. You're their manager basically, or you look after them, and you're very kind of involved in the whole East African scene. And you speak Swahili, yeah, which is amazing. How did you know, out of the whole continent, what drew you towards East Africa? How did that kind of development happen?
Mostly my studies and my first travels in Africa, which was in East Africa. So I just kind of got connected to the scene in Tanzania first of all, then also a bit in Kenya. And as I was studying Swahili, I got to connect with people on an equal level. And the first group I started to promote was Kwanzaa Unit in Tanzania. Then X-Blasters came a bit later as I was doing my research for my thesis. Somebody hooked me up with X-Blasters in Arusha and told me, like, you know, these guys, they're really raw, wild and everything, but they're really not known. They don't have anybody to record them or whatever. So I ended up in Arusha. Yeah. These guys thought like, hey, cool, you know, a guy from Holland coming to see us, so that must be interesting. And I came with a little mini disc recorder, hooked it up to the local sound system and the disco. And we recorded a track, which I then later sent on CDR to the radio stations. And I made a mixtape together with like some Tribe Called Quest and like foreign stuff. Sent it to two people, and one of them actually sold it to a pirate. Then that track got like hit in all of East Africa.
Cool, man.
That was the start of X-Blasters.
Now you do. I know you work with Baobab Connections. You're based in Cape Town, and a lot of work with the United Nations and stuff. What role do you think African hip hop has in developing a positive, sustainable African continent and developing young sort of youth culture? Does it have a role?
Can have a role, yeah. I'm not sure. You know, like hip hop is evolving all the time, and maybe we'll find that like 5 years from now the majority of youth are not listening to hip hop per se, but something, you know, like derived, maybe like Kwaito or so. Even though Kwaito doesn't really have that reach. The good thing about hip hop is that even though it might have started in New York, you know, the hip hop is the way we know it, but it sort of landed on different spots, and then it reconnected. And there's now things like Channel O and what else? MTV Africa, MTV Base, and internet platforms such as Who Was in Mine that are connecting people, and that's like on a level that's never been seen before.
Yeah.
And that can be really interesting. And I think right now it's mostly cultural, but like I said, the internet is it could be the start of something bigger. And,
yeah. So if a guy's sitting in I don't know, like Luanda or somewhere, and you had to give him a message about how he should approach like technology and the internet, because obviously not, you know, the internet is limited, the access is limited. But as an artist, how important do you think it is, no matter where you are in the world, to have a presence on the internet?
How important it is? I think, you know, like for somebody that wants to break through locally, they might just find that it's more important to focus first of all on the local media, which might not be the internet. But to have a presence online will possibly help people to, you know, to get recognized internationally, to collaborate with fellow artists, and also to, you know, to learn more about themselves even, because they will get feedback from people abroad, and, you know, some kind of feedback might be to the point that they shouldn't use so much like American style beats. They want to hear something more locally. I mean, it's good to see a mirror of yourself, and internet could be that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, man, big up respect.
Thanks,
This man has done more for African hip hop than anyone I know.